So keeping the job pipeline full. Bam. Okay. Sorry, I just walked here and I didn't realize that I'd be as tired as I am right now. Okay. So it's week 10. We've got 2 more weeks left of class. And I just want you guys to reflect back on what have you been doing for the past 10 weeks?
I've been asking myself that same question.
So asking ourselves, what are we doing?
Learning a lot.
Learning a lot. Anything else? What have you been learning a lot of?
Mean stack development.
Yes, mean stack development. Learning how to code. Awesome. And why?
Why are we doing that?
Yeah, why are you guys doing that?
Oh, because it's super rad.
Because it's super rad. That is a good reason. It is super rad.
Because I want a better job.
You want a better job. Okay, cool. I know these are easy questions, but I want you to just go through this thinking exercise with me. I've been doing this for 10 weeks because I want a job. So you'd say your goal after this course is to
Get a sweet job.
get a sweet job. Awesome. All right. Andre, can you read this quote for me?
A goal without a plan is just a wish.
Awesome. So, if you don't have a plan for getting a job, you're probably not going to get a job. Or it's going to take you a really, really long time. Trust me. I think you guys are cohort number 16 or 17, and I've gone through this a million times, every 12 weeks, over and over and over again. And if you don't have a plan, you will not find a job. And this is a good idea of a plan that you may wish to follow, or a plan that you can take ideas from. And it's starting with the whole concept of a pipeline. So what is a pipeline in general? Like, we've got this pipe in a line. What do pipes do?
Be transport one place to another.
Transport, take things from one place to another. So if you turn on a faucet, you assume that water will come out. If there's no water getting to the pipe, no water will come out. Pretty basic. Okay, yeah?
Jack says I can't see our screen.
Oh, is he here? Okay, I didn't know he was hopping on. Okay. Let me share that screen. Are we in an official call? Let's see. It's recording. Why is this all of a sudden becoming really confusing? No, this is Andre that I'm calling. And where's Jack talking right now? Let's see.
I don't think so.
So he said he can't see the screen? Wait, so did he tell you that just now? In a direct chat?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you ask him? Okay. Well, that'd be why. You cannot see us. Because you're not on a call with us. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, great. Cool. I didn't know if you were going to join us today, so no problem. We just started, so you haven't really missed a whole lot. And we'll jump back into this. Okay. Just for a quick review for Jack, we're talking about finding jobs. What have we been doing? Learning how to code. Why? Because we want jobs. So our goal is to get a job. You want to have a plan in order to succeed at your goal of finding a job. So that's what today's about. We're talking about pipelines. What do you guys know about sales pipelines? Nothing?
I know stuff about sales pipelines.
Okay, tell us what you know, Drew.
Sales pipeline is a way of sort of maintaining consistency in your sales numbers. by actively recruiting sort of new potential leads constantly. So the idea is that if you're constantly, like, even if you know that you have some really good prospects who you think are gonna make a sale, you still also want to be generating new leads, because that way, once you're done, filling out, once that sale is complete, then you have something else, then you have another sale lined up, ready to go.
Absolutely. So like Drew was saying, a sales pipeline is just a whole process of having a group of, or I guess a whole bunch of different people in your pipeline to actually completing a sale, who are suspects, prospects, actual leads, people you're working with, opportunities. Even if you know or think you have some companies or people that you're going to close, you want to have some backups in your pipeline so that you can keep going. Because your goal, generally in sales, if you're paid on commission, your goal is to get as many sales as possible so you can make as much money as possible. And the best way to do that is to always have new leads in your pipeline so you can move on to the next step. If someone says, no thanks, no problem, I have 50 other people that I am talking to right now, and I'll just move on to the next person. So I want you guys to think about the job search process in kind of the same way. So we have all of our applications that we submit. We have, potential interviews you can get from some of those applications. If you don't get any interviews or you run through all the interviews, then you go back to your pipeline of applications. Some of those interviews might turn into multiple job offers. Awesome, that's actually like your ideal situation. If they don't, some of them won't turn into job offers. Sometimes you will just get a couple interviews, maybe 5, and they won't go anywhere. And it'll be frustrating. But it's always helpful to have those applications that you're still applying for in the background to go back to so that you can get to a job faster. I was trying to come up with like the likelihood of you getting a job from applying to just one company at a time. So I kind of came up with like, there's like 4 different ideal situations, well not ideal, but 4 different situations that could happen. You could apply for the job, you get an interview, you get a job offer, you get the job. Awesome, that's like 1 in 4. You apply, you get an interview, you get a job offer, you don't actually like the offer, it's not good enough for you. You apply, you get an interview, still no offer. You apply, nothing happens. Looking at this, you could say that your chances are 25% of getting a job, right? From applying with one application? Kinda, but then you start thinking about all these other variables that exist. Can you actually make the interview at the times that they're offering you? Do you even interview well? Is the offer good enough? Do you like the company? Do they like you? Can you move? Do you work well on your own? Benefits, do they meet your needs? Are you the only applicant for this job? Do they like another applicant more than you? And suddenly this simple equation that looks like 1 in 4 turns into this. And I actually was looking online, I was trying to like find an exact number, and there's actually people like debating all over the internet about what is the exact percentage that you'll get a job, depending on how many you apply for. And this is just one of the equations that they're like, that I don't even understand this, but that they're using to try and figure out this problem. So anyway, if you're applying for one job at a time, and that's all you're doing, and you're waiting for that to go through that whole process, you're going to, again, have that interview, but nothing will happen. You'll likely not have an interview at all. You'll get ready to go back to that list of applications that you have not submitted because you've only submitted 1 application. There'll be 0 of them. You'll be sad and you'll cry. Then you'll get depressed. This happens. Again, 17 cohorts. They get sad and they cry to me. And then they don't apply for weeks because they're sad. I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. And they just play video games all day. And then they go back and they send in 1 more application because they didn't learn. They didn't learn the first time. So again, this process is just going to happen over and over again if you keep just submitting 1 application at a time or 3 applications at a time. Again, you will be sad. You will be depressed. You will not apply for a while. And then you might apply. You're just making this process take so much longer than it really needs to. So this is the pattern I want you guys to follow when you're applying for jobs. Apply for as many applications as possible and do so on a regular basis. So I would set the goal of 20 applications a week. And we're going to talk next about how to get to that number every week and what you need to do to get there. Again, the more applications you apply for, the more interviews you'll get, and the more job offers you'll get. And the more consistently you're doing this and adding more and more and more apps into your pipeline, the more applications and potential interviews and offers you'll be able to turn back on when these other ones fall through. You also won't be depressed when an interview doesn't work out, because you're like, that's fine, I have 3 more next week. I'm gonna do the best I can on those. Same thing too, if you're not getting interviews, well, I just put in 50 applications, let's put in 50 more. And then also too, let's go talk to Soraya about what I'm doing and maybe we can find something that I could improve on. I've talked with students that have applied, and we've gone and tweaked their resume, or we figured out a better way for interviewing and helped them to come up with solutions. Because I know we've been going over this for the past 10 weeks, but I also know that you guys have been focusing more on coding, which is more important right now too. So you're not perfect at all these different steps that we've been going over. So your first step for applying for jobs is definitely going to be online searching. I highly recommend using their auto search tools and email notification features. On like almost every single job search site, there's a place where you can actually type in the type of job you're looking for, ask them to email you every week or every day even with any new jobs that come up meeting those qualifications. I recommend searching about at least 3 times a week. Don't just do all your searches on Monday and then say, cool, I'm gonna apply next Monday, because new jobs are coming up all the time. I actually just was looking for some jobs to post today for you guys, and some of them had been posted 12 hours ago, and today's Wednesday. So again, I recommend searching Monday, Wednesday, Friday for new positions, and then use that easily apply feature that Tanner was talking about a few weeks ago. I just posted the link to this slideshow in the Career Prep channel. These are a whole bunch of different sites that you can use to search for jobs, and the same jobs are not going to be on every single site. So I recommend searching through all of them because you never know. And again, to make your life easier, set up those notifications so that you find out when new jobs are posted automatically and instantly so that you can apply right away. Another thing too, as I've gone through helping students to find new positions, all different types of people use different names for developer positions. It's really frustrating, but it's true. Part of it's because there are so many different, like you guys know, technologies and tools that developers use. There's a developer who's been in the industry for 2 years is different from someone who's been there for 10 years. So use all these different terms, switch them around, think deeper into what you know. If you're not having any success with Angular, start looking for Node, JavaScript. The whole goal right now is just to get your foot in the door and get some experience. Maybe you just really don't like Node right now, but if that's all you're gonna find and that's all you're gonna get, I would recommend just getting in the industry as soon as possible so that you can get some experience, get better connections, and move up to your next position. You guys are actually really lucky because we've been doing this for 3 years now, and I'm starting to get data on how long it's taking students to move up in their careers. And right now, my students from about a year ago and 2 years ago are moving into new positions, and their salary increases has been increasing by about $10,000 every time they move on to that new position. So getting this first job is just, no matter how little, or of course you want to make sure you're able to feed your family, is your main #1 goal, because that's your foot in the door, that's what's going to get recruiters looking at you for better jobs, and that's what's going to build your network. So again, search every day. I want you guys to keep in mind, if you want to stay in Utah, if you don't like working remotely, if you want to stay in a specific county in Utah, and if you'll only work for a certain salary, you will run out of jobs to apply for on a weekly basis. This is not to scare you, this is just to help you think about your application process. And the same thing applies for if you want to stay in Virginia or DC, or I can't remember, are you still back up in New York? Everywhere. Drew's everywhere.
No, I'm here. I'm in Utah.
He's in Utah right now. So, but anyway, so with this in mind, you will run out of jobs every week to apply for. New ones are going to come up there, but you're going to want to be doing things in your spare time to find jobs in other ways. So we're going to watch this video for some ideas, and then we'll go a little bit deeper into that on how else to find jobs outside of your online job search.
out how to get to that interview. That's right, it's job hunting time. Now this can be a frustrating process, so we're going to share a few tips to help make the process a little less stressful. Number one, let everyone know you're looking for a job. You never know where an opportunity may arise, so by letting all your friends and family know you're looking for work, you extend your reach beyond the opportunities you may see alone. Family or friends may know the perfect job opening for you and may just not know that you're looking. Number two, don't limit yourself to just online job searches or applications. It's tempting to simply submit a ton of online applications from home and then kick back. But not all positions are listed online, and with everyone else spending their time job hunting online, walking into a place that's hiring may move you to the front of the queue. Of course, that doesn't mean you should ignore applications and job postings online. It just means that you should also keep an eye out in the real world as well. Number three, remember that your resume is not written in stone. Make changes to highlight different experiences for different positions. Swap around skills and keywords for different industries. In fact, it may be helpful to have different versions of your resume, each tailored to a different position or field. Number four, okay, so I know that LinkedIn may not be the most exciting, but a 2014 survey showed that over 90% of recruiters use LinkedIn, so you should too. Remember the old adage of only getting one first impression? Give your profile a facelift before you begin applying or announcing to the world that you're looking for work. Also keep in mind the earlier tip about your resume, or in this case your profile, being flexible. Rearrange your experience and skills so they make sense for your recent applications. Number five, as we'll discuss in a future video, take your online presence one step further and use a blog to showcase your expertise. If, for example, you're an aspiring editor, ask readers to send in their writing and then edit those samples publicly on your blog. Explain why you make each edit, showcasing your knowledge for potential future employers and maybe landing a few freelance clients in the meantime. Number six, employee referrals are powerful. If you're considering applying to a particular company, see if it has an employee referral program. If so, do you know anyone already at the company who could put in a few good words on your behalf? Your friend will typically receive a monetary award if you're hired, and you'll have a much higher chance of landing a job if recommended by a current employee. And that's all we've got for you today. If you have any job hunting or interview catching tip.
Okay, awesome. So what stuck out to you guys from this presentation from How to Adult?
Reaching out to your friends and family.
Yeah.
That you are looking for work.
Yeah, reach out to your friends and family. That is your current network, and if they don't know you're looking for a job, you're missing out on some people that not only are part of your network, but they actually care about you. So when they hear that there's something available that might meet your needs, they're actually going to tell you. Anything else?
I feel like going into places is kind of like slowly fading, honestly. I don't see
Sure.
like,
Well,
I don't imagine like a lot of places like having a thing where like, oh, come in, we're not hiring, come in and apply, or
I've been
See,
expressly
that
told not to
that's
do
what's-
that. Well, other than, yeah.
Every place that I have gotten a job, I go in and give them my resume and paper, and they say, I actually just sit here and wait for people to bring me their resumes before I even look you up. But I have worked very reasonable jobs.
yeah, really. So just to hear Jack, they're talking about whether or not you should actually go into a company and ask them if they're looking for jobs. And we're getting positive and negative feedback on that. I would really say it doesn't hurt. You never know. Some companies do think that's weird. Some companies do like it. My little brother, for example, of course, this isn't a development position, but he was going to take a job on campus as a janitor. He was about to do it, but he didn't hear back from the security job, so he went down to the police station and said, hey, I applied. And they're like, cool, let's do an interview right now. And now he's a security guard. So sometimes that initiative does pay off. It really just depends on the company. And I would just say, I mean, why not? Or at least even go in to make connections with a specific company that you're really interested in. Those are just some options that you could look at. Again, she talks about LinkedIn. Working with recruiters is probably something you might not do quite yet, but you definitely want to keep updating your LinkedIn, making sure it displays all of your work, because companies are going to look at that when they do set you up for an interview. Using a blog or a portfolio to showcase your work. So I know that you guys have been working on portfolios. Some other things you can do to that is continue to update them, tweet about them, post them, continue to work on new projects, and I highly recommend that. You guys have already been spending 50 hours on just code, So until you find your job, I recommend 30 hours on searching and 20 hours on code. You could swap that if you wanted to. But my main thing is don't stop coding and don't stop building, because you're going to forget what you learned. You're not going to feel confident in your interviews. And you still have all this extra time where you can be building stuff and adding to what you know, which is only going to help you. So additionally, employee referrals are super powerful. So if you, again, talk to those friends and family, see if there's someone that you already know that works for a company you're interested in, and use that connection to get your foot in the door, because it's true. Recently, we needed a few more instructors for our class up in Lebanon, and so we didn't post anything online. We worked within our internal network and got the people we needed, and that's how we hired those people. Most companies don't post not most, but many companies don't post online because it costs money, and because there's no guarantee that people are going to see it. Because just like before, I mean, I just posted like 20 different job search sites up there. So that's just another example that not all jobs are going to be online. So the main thing that I wanted to focus on from this was not limiting yourself to just online applications. So again, networking, LinkedIn, attending conferences. Next week you guys are going to be going to Open West. That's going to be a great opportunity not only to learn new things, learn about technology that you're interested in, but also to meet other developers. Everyone there is a developer or is connected with the industry in some way. Some companies that are looking for employees will actually have booths there, so it's kind of like a mini career fair too. And attending conferences, it just opens up so many doors for your job search goals. Follow up with your prior contacts that you may know. See if no one was hiring 3 months ago, maybe they're hiring now. You never know. Volunteer for a local meetup group. Just start getting involved in the community so people know who you are. They know that you're cool and they want to work with you. That just increases your chances of finding a position as well. And then 2, when you do find a couple jobs that you apply for, don't forget to check your network to see if there's anyone that you know that does work there, because they can help you get in touch with their hiring manager, have a more personal introduction so they remember you. They also too can give you a recommendation, like we were saying before. Go to job fairs. Job fairs is something that maybe you did in college. There are public job fairs that you guys can attend. You don't have to be in college anymore to go to them. These are a bunch of sites I found just for Utah job fairs, and some that are coming up. I know that some of these have similar information because there's only so many job fairs every quarter, but they have some other resources too, like meetup groups for helping you prepare for a job fair, or additional help with interviewing, or etc. So check these out in your home state. These exist, I'm positive. Just type in Virginia career fairs. Stuff will pop up, or job fairs. And again, using different search terms, career fair, job fair. And these links are all live. Check them out. Regularly review job post pages for companies that interest you. Maybe you really want to work for Domo or whatever. You really want to work for Google. I don't know. Check out their website. See when new jobs are posted there. Some companies only post jobs on their website.
I just found one yesterday that was like that.
Awesome. Yeah. So Megan found one yesterday. Also too, I was talking with an alum, and she was like, "Did you know about this job?" And long story short, the only reason why she knew about this position, I was like, "Oh no, is it posted somewhere, or was that a word of mouth?" And she's like, "It was word of mouth." She went to a meetup. They said such and such company's hiring, and so Shaylee, was like, "Oh cool." She went to their website. She couldn't find anything, so she tweeted them. And Twitter is an awesome tool. Twitter gets you in touch with, it just gets you in touch with people fast, even faster than email, because there's someone that's always monitoring their social media, and you can just get problems solved a lot faster that way. So anyway, she tweeted the company and said, "Hey, I heard you're looking for people. Where do I apply?" And they said, "Awesome, let's have you come in for an interview." And that's it. Like, they didn't even ask. I don't remember if they asked for her resume, but anyway, that's how she got the interview. It was just by contacting them. And again, I could tell you guys, if you go to blah, blah, blah and tweet them, you could probably get an interview. Or you can, I could tell you that, but it may or may not work. It's easier, but if you actually went through the process of going to the meetup, you made the right connections, that's how you find those unique jobs. Also to keep working on your personal branding. Write industry-related blog posts on maybe your portfolio website or on LinkedIn. So that's more like I know I was thinking of a couple examples, but anyway, that's more like, I don't know, if you built something cool with Angular and you thought it was a note to other people. Maybe you built a product or a plugin that's useful. Like, for example, when Joe built a plugin for this Amazon tool so that he could play whatever episode of The Office he wanted to just by his voice. That was an interesting topic, and he wrote about it, and it got picked up by another blog. And it just helps to, it just helps people to see that you're credible, because other people care about what you think. You're working on stuff that's actually valuable to other people. And so anyway, that's just one example of working on your personal branding. Speaking engagements. Local meetups are always looking for speakers. They're also looking for mini presentations, no matter how smart you think you have to be. There's people that are in your shoes that need basic presentations too. So look into those. Talk to the directors of those meetups. Running the Girl Develop It meetup, we're always looking for people to help give presentations for us. And so I just bring that up, meaning these leaders are always looking for stuff too. They have full-time jobs, they run these meetups on a volunteer basis, and they would love your ideas and your help. So don't be afraid to reach out. You never know where you can be useful. Also leave thoughtful comments on industry articles and tweet about them. It sounds pretty simple. The internet is a big place, but people are Googling your name, so it doesn't hurt. And then also too, one of the last things, as you're applying for jobs and putting in all those applications, like I was saying before, maybe you put in 50 applications and you're still not getting interviews. When was the last time you followed up with them? Did you call them? Did you email them? Did you go to the office and say, hey, I put in this application, is there anything else you guys need? That is also another really good tool to get that interview from that resume, because many companies, again, they have so much to do. They may not have a dedicated HR team. Like VeriSage doesn't have a dedicated HR department. Sometimes we forget, especially for startups. Or maybe your name just got lost in the big giant pile, or maybe they put your paper aside, but if you call in and say, hey, I built this, blah, 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 maybe they'll look at you again. You never know. So I recommend following up at least 3 times with every position.
Would you suggest emailing first?
I would actually call.
Okay.
Calling is scary, but
Yes.
calling gets you to people faster. Emails, also too, I get so many emails a day,
That's fair.
and some of my emails, I'll read them, and then what I'll do is be like, okay, that's important, and so then I'll mark it as not read, and then it's at the bottom of my not reads. And so,
And I'm also assuming people call you often too, given that amount of times I called you.
yeah,
So.
exactly. And people are calling, so, when you call me, you're directly in connection with me.
That's fair.
I can help you right away, and you're on top of my mind. So I recommend calling first. If you do email, even send them the same email the next day. They're not going to think you're weird. It's actually going to pop the email back to the top with their stuff. And they'll be like, oh yeah, that Soraya girl emailed me. Let me get back to her. If anything, it just gives you a solid no. You can move on. Move on to your next position in the pipeline. And then also too, following up also applies to the interview. Sending a thank you card or a call or a follow-up is not a bad idea when you're doing an interview. It helps them to remember you, especially if it was a good interview. And you can do either way. I've heard of phone calls, I've heard of thank you cards. That's kind of your own personal opinion. I personally don't like to be super overbearing, but I guess when you're trying to sell something, you do want to make sure they remember you. So a call would be more helpful than a thank you card. Also depends on how soon that thank you card gets to them. So think about those things too. But also as well, it does not hurt to do a follow-up call. If they say we'll get back to you and they don't give you a date, and it's been 3 days, I would call them no matter what, just to see what's going on. Just make sure that you didn't miss anything, and then you get your no if you need it, or you get your yes, and you get your next interview set up. And then also you can visit in person too if you feel comfortable doing that. That's another great option. This is just an example of a spreadsheet that you could use for yourself to help you track all the jobs that you're looking for. This is something that my husband and I were using when he was trying to find a job, and this is just a piece from it. But anyway, you have your position, the company, and then what stage you're at. You can use this too with any basic customer relationship management tool. or CRM. There's actually free CRMs out there. And CRMs are actually what salespeople use to keep track of all of their leads. I was just pulling up HubSpot. HubSpot's actually the tool that we use for marketing and sales at B-School. But HubSpot has a free CRM. So you could even sign up and use their CRM. I was going to log in, but I just remember I don't know my password. It's in my toolkit. But anyway, in here you can have all the different companies you've applied with. You can set yourself reminders for when to follow up with them. You can put them in different stages, saying I've interviewed with such and such. All kinds of cool stuff that you could do if you like to do that, if that's helpful to you. For some people, that's too much extra work. I like it because then I know exactly where I'm at. But ultimately, again, this is the main pipeline that I want you guys to think about and focus on when you're searching for jobs to be as successful as possible. Right now, we still have 100% job placement rate. And what that means is all students that want a job and follow this process have found a job, even from our last class that just graduated 3 months ago. So, and all those students, I mean, if they either go through this process and find a job on their own, and I just check in with them every 2 weeks, or they go through this process and I check in with them every 2 weeks and we come up with new solutions, see what's going on. I've talked with so many students, and it's okay if you forget this stuff, I'll remind you of it. I've talked with lots of people that were like, oh no, they always say just wait, I'll call you, why would I follow up? And then they follow up and they're like, oh my gosh, that worked. So again, and that's like what I do, that's my main job is managing the courses and enrollment and career assistance. So call me, Slack me, email me. I'm always on the alumni channel, and in a couple weeks you guys are going to get access to the alumni channel. Yeah, I was just now thinking I could give it to you now, but I think you get confused. So I'll give it to you after this class so that you don't get confused. But anyway, another thing too, and like today when I was going through looking for new jobs to post, I saw a couple interesting postings that I just wanted to point out to you guys. I know that some of you may be nervous about, well, what if I'm not really qualified for everything on the job list? That's totally okay. I recommend applying no matter what, as long as you meet a portion of those requirements. And also too, this is just an example that a lot of these job postings are being put up by people that don't even know what they're talking about. Which means that just because it says, well, first of all, I saw this and I was like, you want a Java, Angular, JS developer. That's possible, but do you mean Java or do you mean JavaScript Angular developer? Because like, I don't know, like that's weird. Like, why did you post that?
I got a screen today from someone that I applied to, and I think the idea is that they do Java on the back end, because he was like, the people I'm going through expressly want Java.
Cool, and that's totally fine. Yeah, and so that's something to keep in mind. But I just wanted to say, like, you never know, this person, maybe that is really what they want, but maybe they really don't know what Java is. You never know. But it is true.
Java sees JavaScript AngularJS development software on the top.
Right.
Well, just there.
It does. Yeah. I just want to like point out stuff like this. For here, they want a front-end .NET developer that does UI and UX. So why didn't they just say a full-stack developer? Like, or do they really want a front-end developer that also knows .NET? Like, what are they trying to say? So, no, I don't know. That's just an example, a couple examples that are a little confusing. And maybe they'd be fine with a .NET developer and a UI UX developer. Because a lot of people that focus on UI and UX don't also do backend, because there's more to UI and UX than making it look pretty. It's all about how the consumer thinks, the design of the website, the mobile application, where their thumb is on the phone. That's a lot of stuff to specialize in, and not a lot of people do that. So again, there are people like this that exist, but there are not very many people like this that exist. They know C# and JavaScript, and they do design as well. So just keep those things in mind when you're applying for jobs. You don't have to have every single skill on here. I would focus on the minimum skills requirements. Those are their minimum skills. So give it a shot. You never know what happens. Awesome. Any other final thoughts or questions? No final thoughts or questions? Do you have any final thoughts or questions, Tanner? No. Jack, do you have any thoughts?
I have some thoughts.
Cool, tell us your thoughts.
It's hot here in Texas.
It's hot here too.
Yeah.
Are you swimming?
No, it's all good.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll let y'all go. And again, this is on the career channel, so that you have access to all those links to different job searching sites, job search terms, career fairs that are coming up in Utah. And if you have any other questions, let me know. This Friday we're going to be doing placement meetings again, and your assignment for the cover letters is due this Friday if you haven't already gone through a cover letter with you yet. So get something like that together, please, for this Friday, and we'll go through that. All right. Thank you so much.
Hey.